Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Living on the Verge podcast. It's me, Virginia, and this is episode number 20. They said it wouldn't last. Most podcasts do not make it past 7 episodes, and here we are, episode number 20. So thanks to all of you for your listenership, for helping me grow, and for sticking with me week after week. I am happy to announce that we have listeners in all 50 states, so I thank you all for helping me grow this podcast. And as far as other countries, we have Singapore and Paraguay joining the family. Welcome to the Living on the Verge podcast. We really appreciate you. A quick little update. I'm supposed to be at the Bitcoin conference, but unfortunately, I'm not able to get away for all 3 days. So I was not able to get a flight that would work, and I had to give my ticket back to Kellyanne, but I'm glad that I was able to give it to someone else who would be able to use it. I am not so happy about not being able to go to the conference. I was really looking forward to it, and I was kind of excited to be in the same room as the Vice President of the United States. Politics aside, that's a pretty cool moment. Well, maybe next time. Kellyanne tells me they may be coming to California for something soon, so hopefully they will, and I will let you know, and hopefully I can go to that one. Well, did everybody have an amazing Memorial Day weekend? These weeks always throw me off. I always feel like the week goes by super slow, which is completely opposite of what you would think for a long weekend and a short week. Well, it does not feel like it's already Tuesday to me, but by the same token, by Friday, I'm sure it'll feel like it's been the longest week of my life. Or at least that's what has happened to me historically. I am glad you guys are all back in the swing of things, and our little old podcast that could is here to talk to you about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, episode 12. So to start, Kelly visits Shamea at her house, and they're hanging out poolside. Did you guys notice how they drank the champagne straight from the bottle? That's pretty ghetto fabulous. Well, Kelly announces that she wants to have a trip to Grenada, and it will be to reset, rebirth, and renew. And she asked Shamea to co-host it with her. Sadly, Grenada is just post-hurricane, so they need a lot of help. And the girls contact someone to find out what kinds of supplies and things like that they can bring. And they promise that they're going to bring some relief. Then Kelly talks to us about her divorce and tells us how much money she spent. She said she's just been bleeding money for 2.5 years. That's terrible. Well, it is coming to an end, though, and soon Kelly should be completely divorced. Portia tours a new prospective home. Well, the home that she has is the one that is supposedly Simon refused to allow her to film in it. And she tells us that unlike her marriage to Cordell, this time she kind of did things right so she wouldn't have to start all over again. So she's in a position where she doesn't have to wait for things to be settled in the divorce with Simon in order to go out and buy herself another house. So that's just what she's going to do. Portia tells us that when she divorced Cordell, well, throughout the whole marriage, that she was very subservient. She gave up her entire career and she just wanted to focus on being a housewife. But there was no plan. So when everything ended, she walked away with nothing. In fact, I've mentioned it once before on this podcast, but she didn't even go to court. She didn't get alimony or anything. She was even stuck with her own credit card bills. So Portia tells her sister Lauren that things have gotten better between her and Shamea, but it's mostly the other girls that she needs to worry about. Then we get multicolored cha-cha. And in this episode, it's not bad enough she had a thousands and thousands of dollar doggy party just in the last episode. But this time she's getting a massage. So the girls are there getting a massage, and so does multicolored doggy cha-cha. Listen, I want to be cha-cha in another life because that girl's got it made. Well, Shamea shows up on 103 FM with Jazzy McBee to talk about her song. And she's on one, you guys. She is just not holding anything back when it comes to Drew. And Shamea is that type of girl that she's like hardcore, got your back, friend for life until she's not. And then you better watch out. She does not pull any punches. and she is not afraid to tell anybody how she really feels. Well, Britt decided after having Asha, the spiritual guide, what was she? She was not a guru, she was a prophet, yes. After a prophet Asha told her that she needed to focus on her business, she decides that she is going to go back to focusing on her bare and naked line. And she tells us that her insurance license is still on hold. So that gives her time to work her shapewear and clothes line. I didn't even know this was a thing, but it's fascinating to me how these women, especially in Atlanta, are like super entrepreneurs. If they're not doing one thing, they're doing another. If one thing fails, they're coming up with some other collaboration. And they really know on this franchise how to use the format of being on television to capitalize on other businesses. These girls know how to get their bag, and I'm not mad at it. Well, Angela takes Charles to see her investment property. Well, one of them. And it's called the Cascade. It was listed at $465,000. It's 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and a whopping 4,256 square feet. Well, it was originally listed at $499,000. Throughout the course of this scene, Angela tells us she's had to slash the price all the way down to $338,000. That's ridiculous, you guys. That's like $161,000 difference. Wow. I don't know if she just overpriced them or if she's just not good at this home flipping thing. I know that the market hasn't shifted that much. So I don't know. We'll figure this out as we go along, but I'm not going to go into business with Angela, at least not into the home flipping business. Well, she can't tell us how much she paid to flip this house because she reminds us that she has 7 houses that she's flipping. And between all 7 properties, she's over $2 million in debt. Yikes. The place doesn't look so good either. She's pretty pissed off at the contractors that promised her the moon and things still aren't ready. And I get it. Like, this is why things aren't going well for you, Angela. Maybe you either need to hire more capable subcontractors or you need to be more hands-on. I am talking a lot for someone who's never flipped a house, but it just seems like common sense to me. Well, then Angela goes on to apologize to Charles about the rift with her mom. All along, she thought Charles was the one who was doing some crazy shit, but then she goes on to tell him that she found out that it was just over some comment that he had made, and she never really knew the gist of what had happened. So she felt really bad that all of these years that she had been, ragging her husband to make up with Mama, when really it was Mama that owed Charles an apology. Now, Britt, here we go with her, my favorite housewife of Atlanta. She does not fail to disappoint. She's throwing a country club classic golf tournament. Now, first of all, like starting off right straight off the bat, most Southern belles do not like to golf. And so the idea of having a tournament, who the fuck knows why? I have no idea. It has nothing to do with shapewear, and she's using it as an event launch. So you're having women come to a golf course all dressed up in 5-inch heels and gorgeous Kentucky Derby hats, and then you're going to have them actually golf on the golf course. Ay. Well, Portia shows up, and she inadvertently shades Britt and the event that she's having, asking about what line does she have and what's her business. And she thinks it's skincare. So anyway, everybody's confused. Nobody seems to understand what the hell they're doing there. But did you realize that when people started to show up, nothing was done? There wasn't a flower or a tablecloth or signage anywhere to be seen. So Britt, you got a long way to go when it comes to hosting events. Maybe you need a party planner. Maybe you should get Kelly's party planner because she can, plan a hell of a party for a dog. So I'm thinking she could probably do just as well with an event launch. And then maybe people will actually know what you're launching. This girl takes confusing to a whole other level when it comes to this event. So Then we see them heading out to try to golf. And I don't know if there are any golfers among my listeners, but my husband was sitting next to me while we were watching this, and he is a golfer. And I pointed out to him that they had just aerated the greens. That's where they poke all the holes in it. Well, thank goodness, because these bitches were wearing 5-inch heels and they were doing some aerating of their own. And the people, the men that were there on the golf course, like actually golfing a round of golf, were throwing some mad looks. Like they were not having this. They were offended. They seemed put off. And then the girls start acting total fool. Like they're just, divoting and foring everywhere. And I don't understand. Again, why are we on this golf course? I don't understand. Well, none of the girls lasted more than one hole. Everybody thought it was a bunch of nonsense. And then we end up in the event. So let's move on. Angela shows up and she brings Charles to the event. Did you guys notice as soon as Charles saw the girls, he like immediately 180'd and got the hell out of Dodge? And the group of girls, Drew and Portia, actually, they have a decent hug. So it looks okay for now. But nobody knows to this point why they're there. And then we hear Britt talking to the event coordinator. I guess she does have an event coordinator. Get another one. Talking about there's cocktails for everybody, but there was only supposed to be food for the girls. Okay, so now this makes Ratchet look classy. This is beyond. You have an event. You ask everybody to dress up. They're supposed to come to some lunch. They don't know what they're coming to. They show up dressed up. There's nothing there for them to see, no decor, no event, if you will. Then you make them golf in 5-inch heels. But then you bring everybody back in and you say, hey, you and you can have a drink, but only you and you get to eat. Remind me to never, ever go to any of Britt's events. And if I do, for whatever reason, I don't think I'll ever get invited because if this gets back to her, I'm sure I'm going to be on her shit list. I can't remember having said one nice thing about Britt so far. Anyway, if I were to go to an event, I need to make sure to eat before because this bitch only had enough food for the housewives. And the event organizer had made a mistake and put menus on everybody's table and everybody's plate. So everybody got there thinking that they were going to get a lunch. And then the event coordinator says, I'll take care of it, and walks around pulling all the menus. So I don't know how these people, got the news broken to them that they weren't getting any food, but there was no food. And then the housewives catch wind of what's going on, and even they can't believe how ratchet it is. So she has these boxes, and they are supposed to be gifts for the girls. And they're just these cardboard boxes. One of the girls shaded her a lot because you open the box, there's not a tissue paper or ribbon, nothing to be seen. It's just a piece of shapewear. And to make matters worse, she doesn't get the girls' sizes right. Well, she may have, but Angela in particular points out that she gave her an extra large. Do we think that that was to be kind of shady? I think so. Well, can somebody tell me why Britt's husband looked like one of the servers at Farrell's? Remember Farrell's, the ice cream parlor? Or maybe one of the Dixie Players from Disneyland on Main Street? He looked silly. We have Angela who's ready to stir up some shit, and she brings up the Charles baby conversation, mainly so that Charles, who for some reason is made to sit at the table with the housewives, can hear what was being said. And Angela said that she could be one of his whores. What in the hell? I don't even know why she brought it up again. Then somebody calls Drew Nocchio. That I love, that I'm going to use. Listen, Drew, you may be a lot of things, but you are a big storyteller lately. I don't think you can keep your story straight, so I'm on board with Drew Nocchio. Well, then she doubles down and calls Shamea a dog once again, and then produces some half-baked apology. I don't understand, Drew, why you would even do that. You act like you're going to apologize. You act like you're, remorseful. but then you say some shady shit and you undo all of the work you did in your apology. Well, Shamea's not having any of it and starts chanting, "You can kiss my motherfucking ass, bitch. You can kiss my motherfucking ass, bitch," which I found hilarious. A little ratchet at the golf course, but whatever. I mean, listen, there wasn't even food, so we don't need to bring our A game to this place. Anyway, Britt gets up and says, "This is a classy establishment, and if you're going to have side convos, then you need to take them outside." I can't even believe this, and neither can Cynthia, who's not happy and can't even believe that she got dressed for this nonsense. So she grabs her stuff and she gets ready to leave. The other girls follow suit, and the miserable golf course country club shapewear launch party is thankfully over. So we have the scene where Drew is showing up with one of her attorneys, I think it's her music attorney, her music manager, to sign her contract with the music attorney. That's what it was. But before she does that, she wants to clear the air with Dennis. Now, Dennis is supposedly her executive producer, so you would think he would be there. But for whatever reason, he's not in the room and he's on FaceTime instead. So she wants to talk to him about all the nonsense that's been going around. And she says that she confronts him and she says that all of this nonsense about her making a pass at him in exchange for studio time. Well, number one, where's the studio time? Dennis says categorically that is untrue. And then Drew says she kind of sees Dennis as a brother. And so the air is clear. We think it is. Then they have the Zoom meeting where Dennis shows up on the Zoom to witness Drew signing her contract, and everybody's happy. And so let's see, maybe the drama between Drew and Portia can finally come to an end. I don't know.
We're excited because we've got strawberry shortcake on steroids. We've got the very fluid friend, Drusilla.
I mean, she was around. I mean, everybody knew.
The woman about town, Miss Edie Britt.
I went on one date with Dennis.
We've got sweet Shamea and the secret wife of Charles Oakley.
What did you hear about Charles?
I cannot wait to dive in and have some fun. Ooh, so delicious, like a buffet of foolishness.
Oh, I'm excited. I know. I'm going to turn it up, baby.
Act of food.
Frick and Frack are back, you guys. Phaedra's back in town, and she is not sparing a moment to come on strong and hot and heavy with her Phaedra brand of shade. And I am here for it. I am really excited to see if Phaedra's return changes the course of the show in that it's not as negative. I mean, it's going to be shady because it's Phaedra, but hopefully we'll get a little bit more fun, like from the Frick and Frack days, because that's what I need from this show at this point. I think it's been really, really dark and demoralizing in not a good way. So I'm hoping that Frick and Frack will bring some fun back. That was a funny I didn't even know I was making. The girls are chatting, Portia and Phaedra. And Portia tells Phaedra that they're getting ready to go on a trip to Grenada and that she wants to invite her, but because Shamea and Kelly are the hosts, they should probably run it past them. So they pick up the phone and FaceTime, and sure enough, the girls are very excited to have her come along. And that's pretty much where that episode ends. What are your thoughts? I think Phaedra looks beautiful. I'm very excited to see what she brings. It looks like she jumps right into the juice next week in the coming attractions. I hope that the drama between Portia and Drew is over, at least for this season, because I've seen enough of it. And I would love to see a little bit more Angela and Charles. Those two, for some reason, I find them very endearing. I think I just like Charles's matter-of-factness and the fact that he don't give any goddams about this show. He's just on it for his wife. But because of that, he doesn't come across like a thirsty house husband, and it's pretty fun to watch. Things are taking a turn. Hopefully, they will start looking up. The season's got to be coming to an end. It's got to be winding down pretty shortly here. So I'll keep covering it and let's see where it takes us. And I think we got you all caught up on Atlanta. So I'm not watching the after show. It's just a little bit too much Atlanta for me. If you guys are watching it and you want to share a little tidbit or something that you'd like me to talk about on the podcast, then send it to my DMs or send me an email. But for now, let's move on to Love Hotel episode 5. You'll remember we were left on a huge cliffhanger. Shannon hands Earl a letter. We can see through it. It's written in really big Sharpie. He reads one word and starts crying, and that's where we're left on the cliffhanger. So editing and the storyline thus far alludes to the fact that she's going to dump him or she's going to set him straight because of all of the, heartache that she feels he's caused her. Well, it's something altogether different, you guys. Shannon found Earl's stepson. She knew how hurt he was. She contacted her attorney, and 3 days later, her attorney was able to find his address, his phone number, and his email. And even though she doesn't know if, Earl will be well received by said stepson, she knew how much it meant to him, and she wanted to make sure that she found him. Shannon tells us that even though there are no sparks with Earl, that doesn't mean that she can't do something nice. And then she goes on to tell Earl that everybody else at Love Hotel already knows what's going on, but she wasn't sure what his reaction was going to be, so she wanted to give him the news privately. And he's just so moved by all of this. So they end up going downstairs to the bar and they join the rest of the group who is all waiting to celebrate this news with Earl. And he is just like a bundle of emotions. It's a really sweet moment, and it was a really sweet thing that Shannon did. Well, Shannon is filling Adam in on how things went between her and Earl. And as they're talking more and more, she starts to realize that, I think Adam waited a little bit too long. Adam starts to realize that he may have waited a little bit too long. And then Shannon thinks like he's just too tough of a nut to crack. And so then Shannon tells us she's drinking Diet Coke and tequila. Huh? It's not for me, guys. Not for me at all. And I did not realize that you could mix Diet Coke with tequila. I thought that Diet Coke was more of a rum drink. But again, maybe I'm too much of a conformist and I should start coloring outside of the lines more often. I don't know. Well, Joel brings the group together to announce that there'll be an elimination later on that evening. So everybody better get the act together and, try to save their spot so that they can get another key. Well, Luann tells Adam that he better be more aggressive with Shannon or he's not going to get a key, darling. And Adam is a little taken aback. His feeling is if she really likes him, you shouldn't have to try so hard. But then Giselle reiterates what Luann said and tells Adam he needs to tell Shannon how he feels. Ashley and Wale get drinks and they're having light banter and chitty-chatting. And then Ashley asks Wale about what his family timeline is. And he at first says 4 years. And then when he realizes that her reaction is not what he expected, he quickly says 1 to 4 years. And then before you know it, he said, it could be 30 days. Who knows? So I feel like he's changing his desires to fit into what might work for Ashley. And it's not coming across genuine to me. It seems to me like he's flailing to try to stay at Love Hotel. So James, who is just completely whipped by Luann, brings her one of the glass hearts that we see hanging from the tree and tells her that he stole her heart. Very cute, a little bit corny, but just what Luann needs. That girl needs you to pour it on thick and go to the nth degree telling her how you really feel, and then maybe she'll give you the time of day. Well, at elimination time, Ashley is struggling between Wale and Ralph, and Shannon is on the fence between Earl and Adam. Who do you think? I say that Ashley should choose Wale, and I think that Shannon should stick with Earl. But that's just my opinion. Well, Joel tells us that 4 people will be checking out, and then Jay immediately steps in and he bows out. He says he's leaving because it was Love Hotel, not Friend Hotel, and he didn't make any connections. He wishes them all the best. Shannon, for some unknown reason, takes it the hardest. She's really upset that he leaves. Shannon gives her key to Earl and surprises everybody. I thought for sure she was going to give it to Adam. I thought that finding his son was like going to be his parting gift and her way of kind of softening the blow before she let him go. So joke's on me. She really likes him. She says she feels comfortable with him. And I'm curious to know if they're still together. There is a rumor going around that 2 of the people that were on Love Hotel still have relationships with people they met on Love Hotel. So I'm curious to know who it is. I think it might be Shannon and Ashley, but that's just pure speculation from me. I have nothing to back that up. If I had something, I would certainly tell you, but I don't. Then Giselle gives her key to Phil, of course. That's no surprise. But can we talk a minute about Giselle's fashion upgrade? I mean, whoever you hired to pull your looks for this show, you need to keep them with you at all times. Her come up has been amazing. Remember a few years ago, everybody made fun of the way she dressed, and she did have some like awkward choices. That tan colored jumpsuit thing that she was wearing was gorgeous on her. I would love to know where that came from and how much that set her back, because that's definitely a look that I would emulate gratefully and gladly. Anyhow, she picks Phil and everybody is, not surprised by that. And then, of course, Luann gives her key to James. Again, no surprise by anyone. Well, Ashley, you guys, gives her key to none other than Ralph. The girls are so surprised, Shannon especially. And Ashley admits, hey, I have daddy issues. Maybe this will help me resolve them. Joel announces there's a bonus key again, remember? Well, in order to use it, however, they will have to give up their date. So the girls get together and key and decide, after Shannon pushing, that the girls should give the extra key to Wale for Ashley. Shannon is convinced that Wale is for Ashley, he's the guy for her, and she wants them to have more time. Well, Jason and Adam say goodbye, and then Joel announces there'll be another dating pool in the morning. So at nightcaps, Ashley tells Wale that she really does think she can fall in love with him. And Wale is upset. He's like, this girl is talking out of both sides of her mouth. She's trouble. You're not wrong. She is sending you so many mixed signals. And why, on the one hand, she's telling the girls that you're not the guy for her because of the children thing. But then on the other hand, she's telling you that you're trouble and she could fall in love with you. I'm not feeling it. I'm not loving the way Ashley is gaslighting Wale in this moment. But Wale's no fool. He gets it. And that's why he takes off and he hits the bed. So as quickly as Wale left, Ashley pivots over to Ralph and invites him back to her room. Ashley. Well, Earl walks Shannon to her room and they're so cute. He gives her this little peck and, he says, you weren't interested and that's why you didn't give anybody a key. And she says, nope, not at all. They're just really cute together. I hope this one sticks. I really do. Shannon, if you're listening and you're still with Earl, can you send me a DM? I promise I won't tell anybody. Back in Ashley's room, Ralph professes his feelings of sexual desire for Ashley. And they're hugging and kind of kissing and being a little flirtatious. And then Ashley says, oh, really? Is that what you want to do? Well, I just started my period. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Shannon has a short chat with Wale, basically just saying that she's really glad he's still there and that there's a lot of things that She thinks that he has in common with Ashley. And then Ashley's chatting with Giselle, and she confesses that even though Ralph's kisses are passionate, they're not very good. She tells Giselle that he's giving lizard. Ew. Ashley tells us that she lied to Ralph about Aunt Flo being in town and goes on to tell us that Ralph has no idea, but she uses that excuse often and she's not apologizing for it. Well, then they start chatting about Wale. Ashley is very concerned, she tells Giselle, about pursuing things with Wale because of the fact that he wants children and she's not sure she does. So then it's time to meet the new guys. Can we talk about Joel in the speedo? That man is in impeccable shape. I don't know if you have a boyfriend or a husband. I'm not going to take the time to look into it. But you guys, if this is an eligible bachelor, for all my gay friends out there, this guy is a hot commodity. But I digress. Joel announces that there are 6 new guys. 3 can stay. But if they do, one of the current guys has to go home. Then he announces someone left too soon. And he brings back Mark. Remember Mark with Luann? Well, Mark shows up looking like Jesus Christ Superstar. I don't know what the hell he was wearing, some vest and some gaucho-looking white pants. And he walks in with a tray that has a cup containing rocks. His intention is to give the tray to Luann, but Luann's pissed off and she tells him that she argued to keep him. And so then he softens and he goes and he hugs her. And Luann's kind of happy he's back. Well, among the guys, we have a dentist, an oral surgeon, and a boxer. Luann immediately gets frustrated with Mark. As soon as they break off into their own little group, she's sitting there talking with him, and she is trying to allude to the fact that he's just not being aggressive enough. So then she eventually basically just says it like straight out, and she tells him that, she's going to go to the bathroom and that he doesn't have that much time and he better get his shit together. And next thing you know, Luann's chatting with Mitch and Mark is looking on helplessly. Shannon is annoyed with Joel's pics. She's like, I wish he wouldn't have even brought these guys. We have nothing in common with them. And Giselle is a little more impressed with the pics than Shannon is. So Scott is with Ashley. And she's really enjoying the conversation that she's having with him. And then Calvin comes over and steals her to make s'mores. That was so awkward. It was so weird. And Ashley was basically telling us, the viewing audience, this dude's weird. And I don't want to be here with his funky looking marshmallows and his s'more making ideas. It was an odd situation. And I can tell now Calvin is not long for this Love Hotel world. Well, the girls all have to have a powwow because it's time to decide. So Luann invites Mitch because fuck Mark. He just wasn't giving it to her in the timing or in the fashion that she needed. And then Giselle gives her key to Theo. She invites him to stay mainly because she finds him mysterious. Shannon tells Mark that she misses him and gives him her key just because she likes him with Luann. I'm not sure that was a good call, Shannon. I think Luann's done with Mark, but it'll make for good TV. So at least it'll keep Luann's storyline juicy and interesting. And then the rest of the guys are told that their time is done. So can you imagine auditioning, applying, getting cleared, going through the whole process for this show, and then shopping, making arrangements, taking time off work, arranging to get to Los Cabos from wherever you might be from, being there, being introduced to the girls, and we don't really know how much time goes by, but it can't be more than a half a day, and then you're sent home and your journey's over. That would really suck. So they bring the new guys to meet the existing guys. And Jerry is telling everybody that Luann is his girlfriend. Luann's pissed. She is not having any of it. And she says, no, I am not. Not yet. Well, regardless, she ends the night by bringing Jay back to her room for more hat fashion shows. And that's all we see. She does cover the camera up with a towel, and she tells Jay that she doesn't care that they're mic'd. Well, Ashley tells Wale that she thinks she holds herself back with him mainly because she's concerned that she can't give him the life he deserves. He gets upset because Ashley starts nitpicking his words, and it's true. These two, they're just constantly bickering. I got to tell you that the writing's on the wall for these two, and if Ashley is one of the two that ends up in a relationship and it's with Wale, then I need to know why, because these two already have an interesting, strange dynamic. It's not smooth, it's not easy, it's pretty contentious. And usually when a relationship starts like that, it's only going to get worse going forward. So I'm not sure that Wale's the guy for you. I really am not, Ashley. Then Ashley tells us that the reason that she's so hung up on this children thing is because her grandmother raised her to be very sensitive to it, because she fell in love with the gentleman who she married and then later found out she could not give him children, and he left her, and it devastated her life. So this girl is bringing past trauma into the Love Hotel, and I don't know that she needs to worry that much. However, Ashley, if you really know that you don't want children, then you need to be really firm and stop going back and forth and asking questions, implying that you may be willing to change your mind. If you were already that head over heels with this guy, then you would have changed your mind, because I have not met very many women who are of child rearing age and decide that, they don't want any more kids. And then it doesn't change if they fall head over heels in love. Usually, if the person that you do fall head over heels in love with wants children, you are so much in love with them that you want to give them what they want. So I'm not sure that Wale is for you, my dear friend, but we'll keep watching and we will see. Now, they end up having a minor to mildly major argument, and then Ashley walks away pretty frustrated. That's pretty much where the episode ends. And on the coming attraction, things seem to start heating up as the girls have backup that joins. So family's coming on, and they're going to have some tough questions for the guys. I can't wait to see this episode. I think we see that Shannon's daughter shows up. So it should be really fun. I'm very excited about this show. I told you guys before that I'd love to see different iterations of this. And the more I see, the more I think that this will not be a one and done season for the Love Hotel. Well, we have a little bit of time, so I am going to give you this week's home tip. Have you guys noticed that when you're peeling potatoes or carrots, or you're chopping onions and peeling them, there's all of this waste? What I do is I get a large gallon baggie. And if I have leftover green onion heads, or the skins from my brown or white onions, or the peelings from my potatoes, or the stalk from my celery, or the stems from my cilantro or any other herbs that I might use, I take those, I put them in a baggie, and I throw them in the freezer. So every time I'm cooking, I pull out my little frozen bag and I throw in my scraps and I freeze them. When the bag is full, I throw the contents of the bag into a big old pot. I fill it with filtered water. I throw in a couple of bay leaves, a handful of salt. If I didn't have garlic, leftovers, like heads of garlic that I didn't use, then I'll throw in a couple of garlic cloves as well. And I cover it and I simmer it for 2 to 3 hours, stirring it a couple of times in between. And then you cool it down and you strain it, and you have the best vegetable broth you've ever tasted. So it's a way to use all of our food. And honestly, I use the broth in everything. Sometimes I use it when I'm making my rice. I used it last night as my base for my mashed potatoes. And you could drink it just straight. I heat it up and have a little cup in the afternoon because it soothes my stomach, but I know that it's healthy and it's not fattening. So I really, really encourage you guys to try it. You have nothing to lose. And it's something that I do not too often. Usually I'm able to get a batch about once every 3 weeks or so. And so what I do is I put them in those plastic containers and then I freeze them. And another way that you can store them if you're like, cramped for space is you can get smaller baggies and put them all, fill them up, lay them down on a sheet tray, freeze them, and then take them out and they stack up really, really nicely. So that's my food home tip this week. I hope you try it. Let me know what your thoughts are. And just to finish, I had been teasing and talking about my Wirkin review for a few episodes now. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that to you now. What is a Wirkin? It's a fake Birkin. Walmart came out with the knockoff of the Hermes Birkin bag. I think it was probably last year, right around this time. And there was a lot of controversy, but people were buying them. And I'm talking about people who can really afford the real Birkin. They are pretty nice, guys. So here's my story. I ordered from Wirkin.com, Wirkin.com, and I ordered 3 bags. I ordered the large one in black. I ordered a brown one for the 30, and I ordered an orange one in the 25. All 3 together were just under $200. And lo and behold, I got your order has shipped, and then I got a tracking, and then I got a second tracking. So when I looked, the black one was coming in one order, and then the orange and brown one were going to be delivered separately. Well, I was able to track the black one. It got delayed a couple of times, not even overseas, but in the United States. So once it cleared customs and it started moving around, I could follow around along with where the black one was going. And eventually it did show up in my mailbox. And I'll tell you about it in a second. But the orange and the brown one were nowhere to be found. So that's why I kept waiting to do the review. Then I really realized that I like the black one that I did get a lot, but it's humongous. I don't frequent a huge bag very often. And so, especially because it's spring, I'm not going to be sporting a black, wannabe Birkin at this time anyway. I get it out of the mailbox. It is wrapped in paper. It is flat, which concerns me to start, but we'll see. Now, I've told you guys, I am of the mindset that if you can't afford the real thing, then don't buy a fake. But this really piqued my interest. And I never, ever, ever, never have any intention of spending $12,000 to $45,000, $55,000 on a handbag, even though they have appreciated in value and they have done better than any stock market in the last 30 years, never losing value, only appreciating. It's just not for me. I just don't have it in me to spend that kind of money on a handbag. I'd be afraid to put it down or take it anywhere, to be honest with you. I'll stick with Louis Vuitton, Chanel, maybe, a Prada or a YSL every now and then. Those are more realistic. Well, however, as an aside, since I am going to Europe, I have been doing my research on Hermes there, and they're significantly less expensive. So I am digressing. I got the black one. I opened it up. It had a little crease that took a while to get rid of. I shoved it full of dishcloths, and I put it outside in the heat. And then in a couple of days, the little crease went away. It's done really well. The interior is not lined and it's not fancy schmancy like an Hermes bag, but on the outside, it's a pretty good knockoff. And it is vegan leather, but it's really nice quality leather. And so I'm perfectly happy with it. except to say that it's really big. So I ordered, I don't know why I did this. I still hadn't received the brown or the orange one, but I really wanted the pink one that they had just released. And it was a 25, so the small one, in Sakura Rose. So by the way, it'll cost you $59.99 as opposed to when I was researching this morning, I found one at $12,100, and then the next cheapest one I found was $18,400. And they go up from there, like I said, all the way to $55,000. Anyhow, I ordered that one because I wanted a small bag, and I did get that one. It is also very cute. It's the perfect size for me anyway. I love the Louis Vuitton, the Poche, and it's very similar in sizing to that. It's a really pretty color, like a pastel-y pink, and I'm very happy with the purchase. But I'm still waiting for the brown and the orange ones. So I check, and all of a sudden, the separate tracking number is gone. And the only thing I can find is the tracking number for the black one stating it had already been delivered. So I contacted the company, didn't hear back. I contacted the company again, didn't hear back. Finally, I contacted my credit card company and I told them that I had not received my full order. And within 2 weeks, they credited me back the full amount for the purchase. So essentially, I got a black Wirkin for free. Well, I went on this morning because I was going to put the link in the show notes, and the site is down. I had heard that Hermes was getting ready to file suit against these companies that were duping their bags and therefore, causing integrity issues in the exclusivity of the Hermes brand. Well, I don't know if it's for good, but Wirkin.com is not a working right now, guys. So if you missed your opportunity, you may not be able to get one of these phony baloney bags. They're super cute. I'll post pictures. And again, it was just a fun thing that I bought so that I could review it for you. I was hoping that I would be able to lead you in that direction and you'd be able to get one if you wanted to. But I haven't even been able to find another site that is doing dupes right now. So I guess you missed the boat on this one. That's my Wirkin review. That's this episode of the Living on the Verge podcast. Have a good week. We'll be back on Friday. Bye.